We're rocking, we're rolling. I'm gonna push this guy down. I'm all paranoid now because of all the other weird ones. All right. You can't get the mic in front of the moneymaker.
That's facts, dude.
You can't. All right. Cheers. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Woo! You're my first Florida guest.
Dude, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I was really excited because, you know, it's like stand-ups, we all find each other. Florida people, we all find each other. And this is like a double whammy.
This is it.
Do you still live in the House of Florida? The House of Florida is
Well,
what
technically,
they call it.
now I live in a completely different House of Florida.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I moved out here. It was me, 4 roommates. We're all from Florida. Now I live in a house with 2 other roommates. Well, one is my girlfriend. So it's me, my girlfriend, and our 3rd roommate, and we're also all from Florida. So there's multiple contingents out here.
That's
pockets.
Great.
Yeah.
Pockets of us.
What part of Florida are you from?
So I grew up in Pembroke Pines, then Fort Lauderdale, then Weston, then Wellington.
Wow.
So I ended up most of my life.
You're just bouncing around Broward, huh?
You know, I'm just a South Florida slut.
Dude, South Florida. Yeah, I grew up opposite. I grew up North Florida, Pensacola, Panhandle.
Oh, shit. I just made fun of the Panhandle.
Yeah, I do that all the time. It's great.
We went there for spring break. I'm sure you were used to all of that mess.
No, oh, yeah. It was... Panama City is the spring break capital. That's like 90 minutes east of where I grew up. And like, it's so funny because people not from where I'm from are like, dude, I went to Panama City, man. We got fucking blacked out. We got arrested. And like my experience going to Panama City growing up was because my grandfather's brother lived there. So I was like, dude, I went to Panama City. I saw Uncle David, dude. Like that's my Panama City experience.
We played bingo. It was wild.
It was sick, dude. We watched the movie Passion of the Christ, dude.
I saw 2 dolphins.
Dude. We got like subpar Mexican food.
Yeah, it was sick.
But yeah, the Panhandle's great. It's just such a perfect little mishmash of everything great and everything terrible.
Where is Florida, Georgia? That was in Tampa, right? The Florida, Georgia game?
The game is in Jacksonville.
That was at Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to that?
I've never gone to that, no.
I went one year. It was...
Yeah. They used to call it the world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
That makes sense.
And then they were like, guys, we can't call it that because it's bad. And everybody's like, fuck it, man. That's what it still is. So,
yeah, it definitely is.
I've known so many friends of mine that have gone to that every year and like they never even went to the game. They were just like at the tailgates.
We didn't go to the game.
Yeah, exactly.
I drove hours just to go to
be outside
the world's biggest cocktail party.
Yeah, it's rowdy, but
that was this is a moment from that I tried making into a joke and then I was like, it's fucked up. Or like, I don't know. But I was there wasted probably 19. Mm-hmm. And when you're 19 and underage, you think a push-up bra will make you look 21. Yeah. So I'm like a little top, little push-up bra, fake ID. I come out of the porta potties feeling hot, typical Florida girl, porta potties, feeling good. You just let it out. You made it. You didn't piss yourself. And this guy goes, that girl's got peach fuzz on her titties.
Damn, dude.
My confidence was shot. Because, like when the cleavage is put together, the hair kind of,
Yeah.
I feel like when you're younger, too, I was covered in peach fuzz. It's less. Boys, it's less now. It's less.
Mean, if he was from Georgia, though, he's probably like, and I love me some peaches. That would have been the fucking smoothest pickup line ever,
How this whole time I've never thought about that.
Damn.
Maybe I'll retry the joke and then you just gave me the punch.
You should take that, yeah.
Wow.
South Florida, it's not very southern, I feel like maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that would have been the smoothest shit ever. I would have applauded had I seen that. It's like definitely harassing a woman talking about her body, but I would have been like, you know what? Progress be damned. That was smooth as hell.
Man, that was a good one.
Thank you.
Oh, well, where did you went to FSU, right?
I went to Florida State. I did. Loved it. Tallahassee. I actually went to Georgia Tech my freshman year because I took a design architecture class in high school and I was like, dude, I can do engineering. And it turns out, no, the fuck I can't. And so I still love all my friends I met in Atlanta at school there, and I still talk to them all the time. But I transferred to Florida State, finished out there, and it was a great place to go to school. A lot of people don't know this, but there's actually like a huge art scene there and like performing scene, a really good comedy scene. And that's how I got my start doing like sketch and stand up and stuff at FSU. And now here I am like 9 years later.
Yeah, I've been here for 10 years.
It's crazy.
Look at us.
Look at us doing it. We made it, baby.
Whoa, we're big.
Yesterday
I was talking about like we're at the level of being here so long that we're starting to see people fall off.
Oh yeah. I've seen that. Yeah. It's tough. I mean, I've had like the friends I moved out here with out of the initial group of us, a few of them have pivoted into other things and stuff like that. And it's at one point there's a little ego in it and you're like, oh dude, like I believed in you. And the other point I'm like, I fucking get it, dog. Like sometimes this shit sucks so hard. So like I get it. You know what I mean?
Is exactly how I feel about it.
Yeah. I've been out here long enough that I've seen like younger people move out here years after me and they've given up. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm still doing it. Like,
yeah. I mean, that is less sad than the more sad is when they've been here for like as long as you have.
Yeah.
The other ones, you're like, get the fuck out. You ain't worth this city. This city can't handle it.
I feel like a boomer. You're like, you don't know what I went through.
When I got here, there was no slotted Max.
We didn't have no lime scooters when I got here. You had to walk.
It was so different. Like thinking about how open mics were too was a whole other world.
Yeah.
Now they've got it easy.
Now I honestly, it's like controversial. I remember when they first came out, I was a huge fan of the slotted mic because I worked in restaurants. And after being on my feet, I worked at a breakfast spot. So like I would work from like 6 a.m. to like 2 p.m.
So did I.
And like the last thing I'd want to do is go to like a bar for like 3 hours hoping my name gets called. Mm-hmm. So when slotted mics came out, I was like an early adopter. I was a huge proponent. And then you got all the people that were like, oh, it's not like a real open mic. I'm like, bro, I'm in and out of that bitch in 50 minutes and I'm home chilling. Like I loved it. It's been crazy to see them all like take over. I mean, like shouts out the Fourth Wall. That was like the first one. They put that shit on the map and now that's like the blueprint. You know, that's where I did a lot of my like early stand-up grinding out here in like 2017, 2018.
Me too. Shout out to Joe.
Yeah, dude.
I had the Fourth Wall little pass for a while until he got rid of it. The membership. Yeah. So whoever's listening that doesn't know, when mics were original, it would be original. When mics started back in the day, there was a bucket and you'd throw your name in. You'd have to buy something at a cafe. You'd sit there for 3 hours and maybe get up. Yeah. And by the time you got up, usually everyone was gone. There, no one wanted to listen. Mm-hmm. You had to listen to so many shitty comics that you didn't even want to go up anymore. Yeah. And then slotted was a thing. It would be like 10 slots. You pay $5 ahead of time. Everyone's stuck in there for an hour. So everyone has to listen to you. Yeah. You know when you're going up. You know when you're leaving. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It was beautiful. And now, like I said, it's like so standard everywhere. And I like it. I think it's good. I think if there's still like the really good mics that are like lottery style, and I think that's dope. And then there's obviously like potluck and all those, like as I call them, the big league mics. But nah, dude, like I love a good slotted mic with the homies from time to time. It's so funny when you go back to them. You're like, nothing changes. It's like going back to high school. I love it. I go to one every week. Like me and all my friends would do it like every Monday, just because it's like all my friends like run it, and then it's like a lot of my friends are there, and it's like a little community. Like those are all like some of my closest comedy buddies now. So which one is that? It's called Slice Mike. Oh, yeah. Shouts out Slice Mike. With Macy? Yeah, with Macy. Yeah, Macy Isaac's one of my besties. Yeah, Scotty Cav, Avery McKinney. All right, I'll come join y'all. Yeah, come hit us up. That would be fun. I thought about something and then I lost it. I hate when that happens. Mike's, blah, blah. Oh, so you got out of the restaurant industry as well. I did, yeah. I work from home now. Very lucky. I work production for the show Family Guy. Oh my God, that's so exciting. Thank you. Congrats. That's huge. It's been great. I've worked there for almost 4 years. I got there in like 2019. And we went work from home like immediately in March 2020. We've been working from home ever since. And in a way, it's been this really cool experience because I've gotten to like treat it like grad school. So like I've used my time there to like learn a lot about like production and the TV industry and the animation process and how everything happens. And also because we're work from home, like it has opened me up a lot of time to focus on like my own pursuits. And like I don't think I have my
success with online content or anything without working from home for them for the last like 3 or so years. So it's been a really fun experience. Shouts out to Kim, shouts out Charles. Those are my immediate bosses. I love you guys so much. But yeah, it's been awesome. It's been really cool. And I definitely like want to get to a point where I can be like a comedy TV writer and a voice actor and stuff. Whether or not it happens there, we'll see. But it's been a blast. I'm very lucky to have that job.
That's huge.
Yeah,
and
what do you do?
So, oh my God. So I was in the service industry for so long. Yeah. And then during the quarantine, I told myself, I'm not going back.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm done. Like because you just see people get trapped and you're like, I can't. And it just is bringing me down as a person.
Yeah.
Just in this industry. Like the combination of pursuing Hollywood and being waiting tables, eating me alive. And I didn't even realize how much it was. Like it was making me super depressed. I was like, I'm not doing it anymore.
Good.
And then I got a job at a production company during the quarantine.
Nice.
And now it's remote. But I changed as a whole person once I got out of that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not Family Guy, but it's a step in the right direction.
That's good. I got super lucky with that gig. But with the biggest difference to me when I left the restaurant industry was I just knew like I had such a peace of mind because I knew that, okay, here's how much money I'm making. It's like kind of when I first started there, it's like not as much as like I would make in a month of like the best month I had waiting tables, but it was just so much more consistently like I know I'm going to get exactly this much. I know my rent's going to get covered. Like I'm not worried about it. There was a few months out here where like I made rent on like the 30th or the 31st. Like I was just like scrounging. I was like, I don't know if we're going to do it this month. So that's, I think to me is the biggest peace of mind once you move out of the service industry and you get something that's a little more consistent. And you're right. You don't realize how much it's affecting like your creativity and your mental health until you are removed from it. And then you're like, whoa. Like,
yeah. It felt like you just leveled up. And I'm like, I can do comedy now.
Yeah. I will say it does prepare you for fucking anything. Because, dude, I worked at this restaurant in college and it was like an elevated sports bar. And it was open till like 2 a.m. And the food there, absolutely slamming. Like it was so good. But it was just always packed with college students till 2 a.m. So I would routinely 3 or 4 nights a week work from like 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. Just slammed busy the whole time for like 8 or 9 hours. And so I remember one of my first weeks working at Family Guy, we had like this big like a table read coming up for new episodes. So we were like running around as a PA trying to get everything ready. And I was like, I was like busy, but I was not stressed. And I remember someone asking me like, oh my God, are you okay? It's so stressful. And I was like, dog, this is nothing compared to Sunday brunch. Are you kidding? Like Sunday brunch is a nightmare. Yeah.
That's so true. Like I feel like I could handle anything because I was a really good waitress. Like I would be always the calm face. You'd see the panic.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know what everyone needs. And then also the kind of psycho thing about it is that I think it makes you good for comedy because you're able to mold to your surroundings.
Yeah.
Because if you have a real upbeat table, you're an upbeat server. And then you have this chill table, you're like, hey guys, what you want?
You're like, oh, what's up, dude? Good to see you, dude. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It helps in every way. And it humbles you and feels, I don't know. I don't regret it, but thank God I'm out.
Yeah, me too. I think it's one of those things that like some countries in the world will have like everybody's got to be in the military for 2 years. I think like there should be mandatory you have to work in a restaurant for 2 years just to like ego check a lot of people. I'll never forget my favorite day I ever had serving was it was a Sunday brunch shift. It was out here. It was the day after I had this like super intense, but also like really good mushroom trip. So like me and my friends went out to Malibu Creek State Park one Saturday.
Oh, I love it there.
Yeah. And I took shrooms and it was like so crazy reflective and introspective and also like really intense and scary sometimes, but like we got through it. And I remember the next day I was just so at peace with myself. I was just like walking around this restaurant. Nothing was bothering me. And I remember my chef being like, hey, like I need you to run this plate. It was late. And I was like, all right, man, let's do it. And I was like, hey, folks, sorry about that wait. Here's your eggs Benedict. Would you like any side condiments? Okay, yeah, all right, I'll get you some ketchup. Like, just like really just like
zenned out.
And I had this one coworker named Beth who was like very much like into Zen and spirituality and shit. And she clocked it immediately. She was like, what's going on with you today? And I was like, I did mushrooms yesterday. She's like, all right, I could tell. And I was like, tight. Yeah, dude, that's great. I don't know where, dude, shouts out Beth. I don't know where Beth's at, but shouts out Beth.
I hope you're doing great, Beth. I hope you get out or enjoy it, whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's good money.
It is. It is good money. And you will meet the best people ever, like working in restaurants. It's crazy. You know, it's like you'll meet so many fun people from so many weird different walks of life, and they all just, it's like I hate like saying this, but it's like almost like going to war every shift, because it's just like, fuck, everything sucks so hard right now, but like I love you guys.
It really is. It sounds dramatic, but it's not. It does feel like that sometimes.
Yeah, man. It was great.
Well,
I know.
He's funny, my wiener today. Did you think of your weekly wiener?
Weekly wiener, yeah, I got it.
Okay. Mine happens to actually be about a restaurant.
Okay.
I'll tell you mine since we're in the theme, and then we'll do yours.
All right.
So I went to Formosa Cafe last weekend. Have you been there?
I have, yeah.
So we put in a reservation. We get there at 9. They're slammed, turning away everyone at the door. We don't get seated until 9:50. Sucked, but like we said, we've worked in the industry. There's nothing they could do. There was a big party that wasn't leaving that they didn't expect. And then they're like, we'll give you free drinks and free appetizers. And we're like, all right, cool. That's all you could ask for, you know?
Yeah.
So we finally sit 50 minutes later, and the host goes, worth the wait. This is my favorite table.
All right.
And we're like,
sick.
We're like, okay, I don't see it, but I guess we'll find out why this is such a good table.
Damn,
and then the host comes over, doesn't offer the free stuff, so then we have to awkwardly be like, I hate when people make you say, so like, do we get free stuff? Like, do we choose the free stuff, or like, are you gonna bring something out? Because then you, like, the older you get, you learn like you actually have to say something. You're not gonna get the stuff most of the time. To speak up. And she was like, yeah, I was gonna ask, and I was like, when?
Yeah, I bet you for sure were gonna ask.
Yeah, okay. So the wiener of it all was the table that she sat us at. So we're at the back of the train, and there's this table, this couple to the left of us that is just on their phones, like pissed, and we're real close to them. Didn't say a word the whole time. It was interesting.
Yeah.
So this really great table was next to the back door of the train. And for some reason, the back door of the train, I guess, is their only way to get to the kitchen.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. There's no, like, kitchen back door. So the whole dinner, they're bringing giant, it's freezing also. It's freezing. So every time the door opens, it swings open into this miserable table. We get a gust of freezing cold air, and they're carrying, like, giant coolers.
Yeah.
Just through the whole train. They just remodeled this place, too. Why is there not a kitchen door? Why do you go through the fancy train? And the door just keeps, it doesn't stop. And I'm like, are these dead bodies? Why are they bringing in so much food mid-rush dinner?
Bro, I know one thing. That hostess says that to every single table they sit down.
Oh, yeah.
This is my favorite table. It's like the one in the corner with the broken chair. It's got character. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like that's the host. Yeah, that's I love that. Dude, shouts out to that hostess, dude.
It was so funny. I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, that's there's a restaurant. It reminds me, there's a restaurant in my hometown of Pensacola. It's an Italian spot called Bonelli's. It's like really tiny, family owned, very much like a Bob's Burgers, like Bob and Linda vibe.
Yes.
And if they sit you by the table that is right by the kitchen door, they immediately give each person a free glass of wine. They're like, hey guys, sorry, here's free wine. Like, it's so nice of them.
That's what they should do. Then you can't be mad. We're such simple humans. I mean, most of us, I feel like, give us just one little thing free that costs you nothing, and we're happy.
Yeah.
But that's man, all it takes. That was and the food sucked. It was
damn, dude.
It was so funny. I sometimes I just love moments like that. You just laugh.
I know. Yeah, that's all you could do. Is like when you're just so in over your head. That's the thing that I used to do when I worked in restaurants all the time. Is when you're just so in over your head, all you can do is start laughing. I remember one time I worked at this restaurant in college. It was a chain steakhouse. The peanuts shells on the floor kind of joint.
Like what was that? Roadhouse?
It was Logan's Roadhouse.
Okay,
it was the name of it. And this location has since gone out of business. But there was one time I came in and they were like, "Hey, we got a party of like 18 for you in the back banquet room. You knock that table out and you can get out of here." I was like, okay, cool. I get to the banquet room and I start taking drink orders. And the lady goes, "Oh, there's going to be a few more of us coming. I was like, sure, no worries. 41 people ended up showing up.
Your whole night.
My whole night. And it was so busy because like the restaurant was busy. They didn't have any other servers that could help me. And I remember going back into the kitchen because everyone was like, we want more rolls. And I'm going back into the kitchen and I'm taking all of the rolls. Like I have like a whole big ass tray full of like 12 baskets of rolls. And the manager that's like working the expo is like, hey, why are you taking all those rolls? There's no way you have that many people in there. And I go, I just started maniacally laughing. It was crazy.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Shit. I loved Roadhouse. I don't know if it's the same one.
Dude, it's fun to go there. It's not fun to work there.
Who cleans the peanuts? I guess
we do. We do.
You just get there's peanuts on the table, peanuts at the host stand, everywhere, and you just eat them and throw the shells on the floor. It was so fun as a kid.
It's fun to eat there. That's what I'm saying. Is you're like, woo, I got a pork chop. Just throwing peanut shells. So like in a way to
the server's face.
In a way to kind of like stave off the sheer amount of peanut shells that would be on the ground, they started putting a second bucket on the table for the empty peanut shells. And what people would do is they would put the peanut shells in there, and then I'm supposed to go over and like grab it and try to dump it out. But before I could grab it, people would just take it right in front of me and just dump it on the ground. And then just like, I'm like, what are you doing?
Why would they do that?
I don't know, dude. And it was a big thing. They were like, hey, don't sweep up the shells when people are here. We want people to have fun. I'm like, fuck. So I'm like walking around. It's like everywhere.
Oh, do you hate peanuts now, or have you moved past it?
Oh, no. I would never hold that against peanuts. Peanuts was just doing their job.
They were just, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, well, enough about waiting tables. I'm stressed.
I know, right?
What's your wiener?
My wiener is, I don't know this person. They are unknown, but they drive a black Dodge Challenger. But we've all seen it in LA. So on Tuesday night, Monday night, I was coming home. And I was like about to swing by a taco truck, and this guy in a Dodge Challenger did that thing where like he's behind me, and then he like revs and goes across like 3 lanes of traffic and swerves in between like 8 other cars just so he could be now 1 car in front of me at the same red light. And I was just like, whoa, dude, you did it. That was so sick for you. Like, you're so busy. Clearly, you're so important. And then I watched that dude like, as the light went green, he like did it and he like weaved into 2 more people, and then he immediately just like pulled into a gas station. So I was like, where were you going? The gas station was right there
the whole time.
Yeah,
that's got to be one of the best feelings when someone rushes by you and you get stuck at the red light. You're like, yes.
I know. He went from being right behind me to right in front of me. It's like, oh, sick, dude. Like, I would get it if this was a 1-lane road and I was going really slow, but there was so many other cars. Like, why are you driving like that?
They need it. They need it.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely a power thing for them, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, everybody was clapping. It's like everybody hates you.
Everyone's booing.
Everyone's booing
big,
fiercely.
Big boos. There's a lot of those like rich little fucks out here that just, they need their little fast cars in there. I sound so old. There's these little kids in their fast cars.
And they're not staying off my lawn.
And it's dangerous. First of all, it's real dangerous.
Yeah, I would say a dude someone in a really nice car driving like that, is so easy to hate them. But someone in a really shitty car driving like that, I respect them because they have nothing to lose. I'm like, dude, you clearly got something going on. Like, I'm not gonna comment on that. Like, if you cut me off in like a Dodge Neon from like 1996, I'm like, do your thing, dude. Like, clearly you're on your way to avenge your family or something. You know what I mean? But someone at BMW does it, I'm like, fucking stay home, you rich piece of shit.
What would be your dream car?
Dude, my dream car? I've had the same one ever since I was a little kid, and I first saw the Nothing But a G Thing video, but a 1965 all-black candy paint Chevy Impala Gold Spoke rims.
Oh, wow. You had an answer ready.
I had it, dude. I grew up, I was never super into cars growing up. Like, I like played with them and stuff, but as I got older, I never really was like super into sports cars and shit. And then the first time I saw Dr. Dre driving just this wide box Chevy, just like cruising, I was like, dude, that's what it's about. It's about vibing with your friends in the car with the top down. And so it's been really cool living out here with all the lowrider culture and every now and then seeing all the cars come through. Cause like that's the shit I love a lot more. I feel like it's such a Southern thing too, to have just like a big ass Chevy, like all tricked out and stuff. But that's mine. What's yours?
You know, it's lame. I don't really have one.
It's also good.
I remember also
that's punk rock. That's fucking punk rock, dude.
Like, I don't care. It's like you just get me to location A to location E.
Yeah, you know, dude. You got 4 other locations, dude.
Yeah,
you got errands to run.
I got places to go.
Yeah, dude.
I think I want like definitely an SUV, like a Range Rover, Tesla type of big, comfy car that has all the things.
I like it. One of my good friends from work just got like one of the new like Ford Broncos, and it looks so tight.
Yeah, one of my friends just got it. He had the 2-door, which I was like, it's a 2-door? But besides that, was yours a 4-door?
I don't know.
Okay.
She was hella stoked on it.
They're really, really cool.
Yeah, they're super tight.
That would be a fun one. I think those are one of the cars, especially as a chick, that makes you look cooler.
Oh, yeah.
It's like having a big dog. You're like, I don't have either. One day.
One day we'll get there.
When you're saying playing with cars, isn't it weird that boys will get a toy that you can play with and then grow up to like, but if like a girl loved Barbies being older, like what is the difference? I guess Barbies is just liking a person.
Yeah, it's very weird because all of the boy like equivalent of Barbies are like soldiers that kill. You know what I mean? It's like, oh God, like why can't I have like a little action figure that he's just like volunteers in his community, dude?
He's a real good guy.
Yeah. What about like substitute teacher Steve? Like that's the action figure, and he's like, I'm retired.
I put money aside and was able to have a nice retirement. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. IRA guy. Like that's the. Hey, I have these pamphlets on safe fiscal responsibility. Like that's the action figures we need to be giving to boys. But that is weird. That's dude. I don't know. Dude. That's the patriarchy. Dude. That's the
whatever.
Society,
who cares? I just remember always you get together with your friends and be like, let's cut their hair off.
Dude, yeah, it's just so terrible to give a child anything that looks like something that's alive because they're just gonna fucking ruin it.
Yeah,
dude.
you just draw on it and give them all the hair's gone.
Every one of us has a little bit of Sid from Toy Story in us.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like we're just fucking out there like mangling these fucking things, blowing them up, throwing them.
Sometimes when I'm walking on a bridge, I think like I kind of want to just throw my phone. Like I get these weird
100%.
Like, why do I feel like this?
It's so great. It's the same. It's the same thing as when you like pet like a cute like puppy and you're just like, oh, I just want to kill it. You're like, like where does that come from?
I know. Imagine not being able to control that.
Ugh, it'd be a lot more interesting.
Yeah,
God, I hate that. I get that too sometimes. It's like I also get that like if I'm sitting in like a movie or like I'm at a play or at like a comedy show, I'm just in the audience. I'm like, I could run on stage and yell the F word and nobody stop me. Like, you know what I mean? I could be like right there, be like, fuck! Or, like, what's realistically, no one would be able to prevent me from it. Like, there would be consequences, but it's just like, I do that at work. I'll be on a Zoom meeting with like 40 other people, and I'm like, oh my God, what if I just like said a bunch of curse words right now? Like, it's the same feeling.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to control. Anytime I'm in an elevator with a bunch of like just straight like just people, I'm like, I want to like say a fart joke or something.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what would they do if I just like press all the buttons and got off? Like they would just take it. They'd be like dismayed, but they'd be like, oh.
That's good. It means we still have a weird childish.
That's the Batman movie I want to see, where it's like just the inconvenient Joker, where he like doesn't actually kill anyone. He just like mildly inconveniences people.
You should make a sketch doing that.
That's really funny. Yeah, I will.
We always need more Joker stuff.
You gotta have more Joker stuff, dude. Always need more Joker stuff.
Be good. So did you think of your jokes? So yeah. All right. So do you want to start with a joke that you didn't make into a moment that you didn't make into a joke or you're still working on, or one that you did make into a joke?
I'll start with the one I did make into a joke. I haven't done it quite at a show yet. I've riffed on it a little bit.
Okay.
But I like to. I'm like 99% sure I'm one of those people that in January of 2020 had COVID before like we knew what COVID was, right? And so obviously we'll never know because by the time the antibodies tests were like available, it was like May and it wasn't detectable at that time, I guess. But I had all the symptoms. While I didn't lose taste or smell or anything, I had like really intense respiratory stuff and like really bad fever and all that. And then for like the next like 3 or 4 months, I could feel that I was only breathing at like 75%, like as well. You know,
that's scary.
It's bounced back a lot and it's like better now, but for a while it was like really touch and go. But like the weirdest side effect I experienced from it was like my sexual stamina went completely out the window. Right? It was like I immediately started like coming and like so fast. And I was like, this is crazy. And I think a lot of it had to do with like not breathing as well and all that. And so I Googled it and I was finding nothing. And the way I told the joke about it was I was like, yeah, I did a bunch of research. I found nothing, which makes sense because that's the one symptom that no man would ever admit to. You know what I mean? Like they'd be like, okay, and we're just doing some research on this novel coronavirus. Did you have any like respiratory? Oh yeah, I'm not breathing as well as I used to. Okay, cool. And any sexual? Nope. Not at all, dude. I'm fucking laying so much pipe, dude. It's honestly crazy, dude. I'm fine, dude. We're all fine.
Oh my God.
We're doing better now. That was like 3 or 4 years ago. We're doing better now. We're back at it. But
thank God.
It was like, yeah, I just loved it because obviously no one would ever say that happened to them.
That's such a funny thing to Google too.
Yeah, it was like COVID. I was like COVID bad sex stamina. COVID-19 fast ejaculate. I was like, how do we word this? I'm sure someone at Google was like, this dude is having a bad day. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so.
Did you get any weird ads from Googling that for ejaculate or like
no,
Viagra
absolutely not. I did that shit incognito mode, bro. I was like, I'm not letting the cookies get this one.
Wait, that means other people could have done that too, and that's why the search engine didn't know.
Exactly, man. There's like a global conspiracy.
That would be like, now I kind of want COVID.
Yeah.
If it's gonna make me come really fast.
That's actually the one good benefit. That's tough. It's like you will never be able to taste again, but you will come immediately every time. So it's like, oh, like,
As a girl, if I don't get to taste, I'll get really skinny and I'll come really fast.
There you go, dude.
I mean, I'll take
even trade.
That's great.
So.
Well, it sucks for you to have that happen, though.
It was all right. You know, I mean, it's all about I think it's not necessarily super key to being like a very a good person in the bedroom. I think it's all about communication. If you're willing to put the effort and time in, you can work around it. You know what I mean? There
you go. You're like, I had COVID, and this is the symptom that everyone definitely got.
Yeah.
It
was the COVID.
Definitely the COVID. But I didn't get my results either, so I got it like way past it all. Mm-hmm. And then I just drove to like a shitty part of town because I was like, they have the free COVID stands everywhere. Yeah. So I'm like deep in East Hollywood, found a stand instantly, and I was like, I'm so fucking smart. That was clever, Mandy. And take the test right away, no line, never got the results. So
so probably, who knows?
I don't know. Yeah. It felt like a flu.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was weird because like at the time we were still in the office and we came back after New Year's and like just people started getting sick left and right. It was just this weird thing where like, I think out of a staff of like 120, I would say probably like over the course of a few weeks, 30 to 40 people got it. And it was just, yeah. And so we were like, what is this? Is crazy. Ha, like getting sick. Ha. And then like a month and a half later, it's like COVID-19. And we were like, because clearly that was the thing, you know, and I guess we'll never know for sure, but
yeah,
it was wild.
Well, I think that's a fun, miserable moment you made into a joke.
It was, yeah. I'm still like working on it, but it's gone well every time. It's just like every time I get the chance, I'm like, man, I don't want to tell him myself. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it's funny because I would never have expected to hear that, and I've never heard of that. Yeah. So it's a natural, just misdirection.
Yeah. It is. It's great.
Yeah. So what's the moment that what's this other moment? Have you tried to make into a joke or you just said no way?
I've tried to make it into a joke once or twice. Have never like quite worked it out. But it's a story that I think is like objectively just hilarious from like an outsider's perspective. But like a month or 2 months before I moved to LA, I was living back in my hometown. I did the classic, like, just like kind of like start dating someone. Oh no. I really like you, like type thing. And then when I moved to LA, we were like, let's try long distance. Mm-hmm. And it was like fine. It was great for a while. Like she came out to visit me. I went to visit her like a few times. And then we broke up because she cheated on me.
No!
Back home. All right. But it gets way more intense. So before I left, she would come over because my mom has always loved The Bachelor, right? And so she came over for dinner one night, and like me, her, and my mom watched The Bachelor together. And then after I moved to LA, they like kept watching The Bachelor together as like a little weekly tradition. They would hang out every now and then and watch The Bachelor. And so at the end of the summer, they did the finale of The Bachelor. So she came over, and my mom like cooked dinner for her. And my mom made her fried chicken from scratch, which as a Southerner is like such a labor of love. It takes so much time and effort and attention. And she like left having dinner with my mom watching The Bachelor and then went over to some other dude's house and had sex with him.
After the fried chicken?
And that's the thing is like, the reason I think it's so funny is like, what is it about my mom's secret recipe fried chicken that makes people want to fuck? You know what I mean?
That's how good it was. Sometimes food does make you horny. You're like, oh my God.
And it's like, and that was the second thing too that helped comfort me was I was like, do you know how sluggish you feel after eating a bunch of fried chicken? Like that clearly she really wanted to cheat on me that night because if I eat anything fried, I'm fucking tapping out the rest of the night, let alone driving across town to go engage in like physical sexual activity. So
that's fucked up to go after being with your mom. I mean, cheating and then that. It's like she cheated on you and she cheated on your mom.
Yeah, she did. She cheated on my mom and she cheated on just like the ethics and social dinner code of the South, which is like, that's just being rude to your host. You know what I mean? Like, it's just bad manners, honestly.
How did you find out that it was?
So to her credit, she called me and told me like immediately the next day, which I was like, all right, like that's chill. Thank you.
Thank you.
It did like emotionally devastate me and I was a hollow shell of a person for a few months, but like moving past it, I just like kept being like, dude, someday I'm going to find the way to spin this on stage because it objectively is so funny to me. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just like, damn, the whole situation. It's one of those things that's like so far over the line that you're just like, this is hilarious. Like we were talking about earlier, all you can do is laugh at it.
Yes.
You know? Oh God.
There, yeah, you have to figure out a way to make that one work.
And my mom's fried chicken is super good. It's so good. It's crazy. So I get it.
Oh man. Have you heard from her since?
No. We did like she told me and then I did like she told me the day the morning of I had like my first ever stand-up show since moving to LA.
Oh,
so I was like, all right. So I went, and I just remember like being in the parking lot outside the clubhouse on Vermont in Los Feliz, just like sitting in my car, like crying. And I was like, showtime. And I went up, had a decent set though, you know, wasn't going to let the haters get me down. And then we had like a phone call and I just straight up was like, okay, here's how I feel about this. Thank you for telling me. I have forgiven you. Once we hang up this phone, I will never speak to you again. And then it was like, boom, it was game over.
That's fair. Yeah. That's one of the craziest things. I don't remember who was just doing a joke about it. They said it really, Fahim Anwar. Mm-hmm. How like as a stand-up, you have to, no matter what's going on in your life, you have to go up and just be funny. Yeah,
you have to go up there and just rock it.
Yeah.
I had a stand-up set a few years ago that was like, it was like 2 days after my grandmother passed away. And I went up and I did this set. It was like jokes about her. And it was like, in a way, this really weird cathartic thing. And I like low-key almost teared up like during the set once or twice, but I feel like I did good. I feel like if this happened in a movie, you would flash back and it was me on stage. I'm like, you know, but no, it was pretty good. And it is like really cathartic in a way to like work through that with an audience if you're going through something, you know.
My grandma died a couple months ago and I was in between shows. Thanks. Sorry about your grandma.
Thank you.
Yeah. Grandmas keep doing that. They need to fucking stop.
Grandmas need to chill, dude.
Yeah. It's like, it's not all about you.
Yeah, get it together.
It's shows to do. So I was doing nightcaps where they have like the 8 and the 10 p.m. And in between, my dad called and he was like, your grandma died.
Damn.
And I was like, okay. And then I just kind of do like it is cool how the older you get, the more you're able to just take things in like an adult.
Yeah.
And then I didn't say anything to anybody because just suppress it for a second.
Process it. Let it happen.
Went up. I don't even know if I had a good set or not. I got through it.
There you go. But, yeah. When I found out when I actually found out my grandma passed away, I was at I was in this like rec league weekend softball league with my friends. And I was like in the dugout and my mom like texted me and told me that it happened. And like 10 minutes later, they were like, all right, you're up to bat. And I remember being like, this is it, dude. I'm going to do it for her, dude. And I went up and I fucking struck out in slow pitch softball. It was the only time I struck out the entire 2 seasons I played.
Damn.
And I like went back to the dugout and I just like put the bat down and I just like started kind of chuckling to myself because that's so, because you think like, this is it. I'm going to do it for her, man. Like, this is it. Like, guide me from the skies above. And just like, strike 3. And I was like, all right, sorry, team.
And then you just walking back to the dugout.
Walking back to the dugout, yeah.
Oh, damn. Yeah, that's no fun. Well, it is what it is. I watched an insane car accident and think I saw someone die and then went up on stage. I was hysterically crying. And then I was like, so, dicks.
Dating in LA. That's crazy, right?
And I was like, they had to have seen my eyes were like all puffy. But it's like, so hard to get a damn show. I'm not going to say no to a show.
Yeah, you can't turn down stage time, dude.
No.
You got to grind, dude. Always got to be grinding, dude. Can't stop grinding. And
I just keep picturing this lady get hit by the car on stage and just like, what am I doing?
You are in front of these people. People can tell.
Yeah,
people in the audience are like, I don't know, dude.
Have you ever gotten too drunk before a show?
No. I never really liked going on stage. So I'm totally sober now. Nothing bad happened. I just didn't like being over 30 and getting really sleepy off of like 1 beer at 8 p.m. So I quit drinking. But I never really liked it. There was a few shows that I've hosted where like I went up, did my set, and then like towards the end of the show, I'd kind of had like 2 or 3 beers and I was like, woo! And I was like, I don't like feeling like that on stage. I've seen other people get too drunk before a show and completely ruin it. So I was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, they could totally blow it. Yeah, I did Dry January for the first time.
Nice.
And
How was
it? It was great. I was like, but the weird thing is, as an adult, when you do something, you're like, what do I get now?
Yeah. I get a peace of mind? What is this?
I just have to feel really good and lose weight. But then you're like, then in your head, you're like, I feel like the what you earn is like a drink, but you're like, but now I don't want a drink.
Now you don't want it, yeah. Yep. That's so the first time I ever like went, I did a sober month. I did a sober September in like 2019. And when I got through the 30 days, 2 of my best friends out here are twins. Their birthdays are on September 30th, just outside of Sophia. And we were all like, I think the Friday that weekend was like October 1st or something. And so we were all going out and I was like, yeah, dude, about to have my first beer in 30 days. It's going to be sick. I remember like cracking it open and drinking it and being like, oh, yeah, dude, fucking. I was just like, I don't like this anymore. This isn't fun. And so, yeah, it definitely like kind of rewires some stuff.
It does.
Yeah. And now that I like quit totally, I think you go through like a good week and a half, 2 weeks where you're like, oh, I kind of want it. And then once you get through that, it's like, oh, I'm good. I just like feeling normal like, the whole time.
The feeling of wanting it, for me, it would last like 30 minutes or less. I'd be like, I'm so stressed.
Yeah.
Oh, the power went out. I was supposed to do a podcast with Josh Potter, and then the power went out. And then I was like, no. And I was like, I could really use a glass of wine. And then I'm like, then I forget that I wanted the wine. And then like, I didn't need the wine. Yeah.
It's funny now though, because I switch. And so now like my like fun drink is coffee. And so like when I went to New York in September to do shows and shit, all my friends in New York were like, let's get a drink. But every time we went somewhere to get a drink, I was just getting a coffee. So like by the end of the night, I've had 6 cold brews and I'm laying in bed at 4 a.m. like fucking so amped up, dude.
My boyfriend said the exact same thing. So he was doing Dry January with me and he was like, I'll just keep having coffees and get jazzed. And I don't care if I'm up all night. I'm still not drinking.
Yeah, dude, it's having the too much coffee anxiety is so crazy. Because I know I've had too much when I'll go to take a sip and it's just like, no one's proud of you. I'm like, oh, wait, maybe I've had enough coffee today. The stout.
It's so weird how that happens.
It's wild.
I usually get a large too because I drink so much coffee, but I have the Dunkin' app. I love deals. And it was like, buy one coffee, get a free coffee. And I was like,
let's go.
Happy Saturday, man.
Get the deals, dude. That's sick.
It is.
Yeah, I love a good iced coffee. I'll probably, God, I always overdo it. I'll probably have like another 1 or 2 today. Fuck.
Oh man, how long did we go? Oh, we could do a little bit more. We could do a little bit more. Back to Florida. I get insecure sometimes on stage that I say Florida too much. Like lately, my insecurity is, if you didn't know, comics are constantly just judging themselves. My insecurity on stage and like this thought that like, have I made, because I feel like I'm boring. I'm just a white girl with brown hair who's had a great family, you know? Yeah. So, I mean, we all have our own struggles. Like
you don't have to like justify this to me.
I went to Disney and the lines were really long and like waited tables for a while. Tough. It was real tough. But no, I feel like my insecurity lately, I just keep saying it. So it's like, is that like I've made Florida like part of my identity. Mm-hmm. I'm like, and then I'm like, I got to pull back. I am not the state of Florida.
I disagree. I think being from Florida is such like a powerful thing. You know what I mean? I think you should definitely lean into it as much as you want to, but don't feel like you need to reel back. Because I think like a fun way to twist on that is twist on the Florida, you know what I mean? Like, because you're from to me, as someone who didn't grow up there, such a funny, specific type of Florida where it's like, every neighborhood in South Florida in the suburbs, they all have like really nicely manicured like lawns, and every neighborhood has a nice sign and it's named something like Hidden Cove or like
that's so spot on.
Yeah, like something like that, like Mangrove Lake or something like that.
Those neighborhoods definitely exist.
Every single one. And so it's so funny to me to be from that, like the really nicely well manicured Florida, like lean into that. Like you're from like bad bitch Florida, as I would call it.
Bad
I mean?
Bitch. I think the guys, what are those boys that got famous? Those they went viral. Those
the Island Boys.
They're from my hometown.
Yeah, dude. They're from the Island Boys. I mean, that's Florida, honestly.
I guess figure it out. I did
just get like hella tattoos and make your hair like that.
I know.
Just lean into it.
I wish I had the balls to dye my hair and go wild, but I don't.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just accept that.
That's okay.
Have you gone back to Florida and done shows?
Yeah, I went back to my hometown last year around Christmas and like did like I got to do like 30 minutes at like a buddy of mine worked at this art gallery, and so they did like a little monthly comedy thing, and they like asked me to do like, how much time do you want to do? Can you do like 30? And I was like, okay.
Yeah, you know definitely.
Because I mean? When you get out, surprisingly, when you leave LA, they're like, "Hey, you do comedy? Come do it for us. We'll clap." So yeah, I did that show. It was really fun. And then I haven't done comedy there since then. I've been trying to get back because I feel like I'm at a point where like, if I wanted to reach out to a few of the comedians I know there, I could put together like a little show at a venue and have a bunch of people come out and it'd be fun. I just haven't had the time to do it. But I also went back to Tallahassee for a reunion of the alumni from the sketch comedy group I was in.
Oh, that's fun.
It was because I always saw like all my friends that were in fraternities and sororities were like, alumni weekend. And I was like, dude, why don't we do one? We're a bunch of fucking sketch comedy nerds. Like, let's do one. And so we planned it. We went. It was really fun. And we did, I did a comedy show there because they still do Scoopty Boopties in Tallahassee. That's where it started.
Great.
And it's like still happening. So I got to do a set there for a bunch of college kids. And it really reminded me of doing comedy in college because we were like just in this living room and there was all these like young, adults, and it was so humid and just everybody was just like kind of sweaty. It was great. That's what it was all about.
That's good.
But I haven't done like a big official show there yet. I would love to go back at some point and do it.
Yeah, I haven't really done much shows there. I went through, do you know Billy Anderson? He runs this weed show, and he did like a few in Florida, and I went with them, which was a blast, like all down the coast. The only problem is you got to get high. The first set's sober, and the second set is high, and it was bad.
Ugh,
and I don't smoke really, so it was the show my family came to. It was in Fort Lauderdale. I got so high. Like I should have just, because I was so nervous to be high in front of them that I got too high. Past high to where I was talking to the exit sign. And then I avoided my family after, which then gives me anxiety when I think about it. It's like my family finally gets to see me perform, and then I avoided them.
Yeah.
It's like when you get that like blackout the next day anxiety, like what did I do? But I was like, you try to be nice to yourself. Of course you're avoiding them. You were high and you're talking to an exit sign.
Yeah, the funniest thing about being high is everything you do when you're high that you think will make people think you're not high makes you look so high, dude. So I remember when I was 21, I was on this road trip with a bunch of buddies of mine from Florida. We drove all the way out to California to go to like Yosemite and stuff. And we stopped over in San Francisco. And we were down in San Francisco and we went to a dispensary and we got like this chocolate bar. And so we ate the chocolate bar. We were so zonked. And like we're walking around like the waterfront in San Francisco, like looking out at like the bridge and like Alcatraz and stuff. And a friend of mine that was with us who stayed sober so he could drive us around that day, who was like, hey, like my friend Blake and his dad are in town. They're going to meet up with us. And I'm like, dude, fuck. Because this guy's dad, like Blake was a buddy of mine growing up. This guy's dad was like in the Navy or the Marine Corps and he'd been like a Delta pilot, just very straight-laced. He wasn't mean. He was just very straight-laced.
Yeah, not the guy you want to be high around.
Exactly. And so they walk up and I'm like, I'm high, literally higher than I've ever been in my entire life. And I walk up to him and I'm like, hey, how's it going? And he sticks his arm out and I stick my hand out to shake. And then like I'm like, go in for the hug for some reason. I go in for the hug. I can feel his arm reach out to stop me. And I was like too committed. And I like pulled him in anyway. And I was like, you guys having fun out here? And he was like, yeah. And I go, all right. And then I immediately walked over and just stared out at the ocean until they were gone. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, all right, cool. Like they think I'm just looking at the water. But no, it's like, this guy awkwardly said hey in a voice that was way too loud and then just stared at the water. Like obviously everybody knows I'm high, you know?
Oh, that's my least favorite feeling, I think, in the world. Stomach cramps and being too high.
Being too high, yeah. We get trapped in it.
Oh, audiences love when people talk about those stories, but then you hear them and you're like, everyone does it, but then it just kills every time. Because I think a lot of people can relate to getting too high.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where with weed, in my experience, it's like, it's all good until it isn't.
Yeah.
And then it really isn't. You know what I mean? Like it's like it kind of messes with your perception of time and then suddenly you're like you left like the fun little warm happy place and now you're just like oh no.
Yeah.
What if everyone hates me secretly? And you're like, why do you feel like that?
Why do you want that?
No one thinks that. Like it's like what if everyone in my family like thinks I don't have any goals? It's like no one think we're just watching South Park. Calm down.
I don't have any goals.
What if the characters on South Park don't like me? They're not real. You know.
The trippiest thing is when I would get, not the trippiest, but one thing that always, when I watch TV high, I am just watching them like they're actors.
Yeah.
I take it out of, I can't enjoy, I'm like, they're acting right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every time.
They're not. Dude, that was like, I just remember one time I was in college. I was a little stony baloney watching The Office. And I don't know what it was, but I just got this like paranoia. And I was like, what if they know I'm watching them? And it's just like, doesn't make sense. But it was like that moment in Inception when when Leonardo DiCaprio was like, oh no, they realize that we're in someone else's dream. And everyone like looks at you. Like I was like, what if the characters in The Office know I'm watching them? And I was like, yeah, that's when I was like, I need to stop doing this.
Mm-hmm. It's so weird how different drugs and alcohol affect everybody so differently. Yeah. Like so differently. Yeah. Some people just smoke every day and are active. Like in alcohol, everything. Mm-hmm. Coffee, we're all so different in that way. But all collectively, we hate people.
Yeah, everyone hates people. Good night, America.
All right.
Yeah, people that can do. I have friends of mine that can do stand up high, and they're so funny and so good, and like it's so much fun watching them on stage. And I'm just like, dude, that is my nightmare. That is my nightmare. And they'll just go up there and fucking rock it. It reminds me of going back to like working in restaurants. Like you had people that would show up to wait tables high. And it's just like, people. I have no idea how you do that.
No,
because when I would get high, and it would take me like 8 minutes to make a bowl of cereal. You know what I mean? And these people are just like fucking juggling 9 tables. Like it's crazy.
I remember
different.
I was cooking one time because the only time I ever dabbled, I think, was like during the quarantine, and I'd be just like bored, and I was like, oh. So I was going to cook. And then I'd turn off the stove and I would just have to stare at it. I'd be like, it's off, right? It's off. And then I would like, I don't trust myself. I think the stove is off. Just thinking I'm going to set my whole apartment on fire.
No, it isn't. I remember when I was younger, I remember like living at home with my mom. I was probably like 19 or 20. And every now and then I would like wait for her to go to bed. And I would like smoke in the house. And then I thought I was being so slick because I would do it in the bathroom. I would take a shower and then I would just cover the bathroom in Febreze. And it's like, I was like, oh, now it just smells way too fresh in here. Like clearly you were doing something you were supposed to be doing. Like, no, you know what I mean? Yeah.
The things that are we thought we snuck from our parents that they knew the whole time.
100%. Yeah, they knew 100%. They were just like, yeah, it's fine. You're not like hurting anyone. Just you chill out.
Those are the cool parents. Just act like you don't know, as long as we're not doing anything too crazy.
I have a super cool mom. Shouts out my mom.
Yeah, me too. Shout out, Mama. We're lucky.
We are.
Well, is there anything you want to plug?
Yeah. When is this releasing? Do you know?
In 2 weeks. Not this coming Wednesday, but the Wednesday after.
Okay, all right. That changes things. Okay. All right, yeah. I am currently working on funding and producing my first like legit music video for my comedy song. It's called Bed by Nine. It's on Spotify, Apple Music. You can get it anywhere. And it's this banger about being over 30 and how just sometimes nothing hits like a good night's sleep. You know what I mean?
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. So I got that. The music video, we're going to film it end of February. Should be out a few months later. On the lookout for that. Hit me up on the social medias on TikTok, Instagram at Big Time Maca, BigTimemaca. I post funny content, stand-up clips, sketches, character. I do it all, dude.
He does do it all.
And if you know anyone in Hollywood who is hiring writers, hit me up, dude. Let them know. Tell them to watch this. Be like, yo, get that kid in there.
Yeah, and me too. I'm available as well.
Hire both of us.
Yes.
If you know anyone who is looking for people from Florida to be funny, dude, we're the ones. We're the ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, thank you for doing it.
Thank you for having me on. This was so fun.
Of course. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.